In this country, I'd have to say Spectrum because it's intrinsically British. But once you set foot across the waters, this is where I met many strange people who were absolutely bonkers about the 64. And I've seen on YouTube, I bumped into Fred Gray, a great musician from the mists of time, and who's now living around my neck of the woods. And Fred gets invited out to Poland and Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan and places like that to play mutants. Just that one track, he goes, and I'm not sure if they pay his flights out there, but they all get together and they have these band nights, and there's bands that tour Europe doing gigs of Commodore 64 tunes. So out there, the 64 is God. So I wear my 64 hat when I'm fortunate enough to be treading the European boards, and I wear my Spectrum hat because, I don't know, it was more of a challenge to me. It was, instead of building a house out of bricks and mortar, all you had was a bucket and spade and a pile of sand, and you had to do the best you could, and I think we did some pretty good things.
Okay, Jim, Spectrum or 64?
As I was a Spectrum programmer, I'd have to say Spectrum. Although the Commodore 64 was good in many respects, like the sound obviously peas all over the Spectrum. Even then they had the AY chip in for the plus twos and stuff. So sound-wise, C64 wins. Graphics. There was a bit more colour in the 64 games, but the actual quality of the pixels through a TV with an RF cable was really poor on the 64. We used to always like play jokes, skit at our friends who had a Commodore 64, saying you can't see the pixels because they're all too much colour all in it. The Spectrum pixels, brilliant, but they were a lot clearer than the Commodore 64. The games, they were all good. There was good games on both, there was bad games on both. Personally, I do prefer the Spectrum because it's what I grew up with, but I think both got excellent authors.
Well, I had a Spectrum when I was a kid, so there's no contest really, but I was secretly jealous of the sound in the 64 whenever my friend would load up one of his. But I never worked on the Commodore 64, it was mainly Spectrum for me, so I'd have to say Spectrum as well.
Yeah, I feel outnumbered up here. Anyway, so thank you very much for listening, and I'd like to thank Mark, Jim and Simon, and also Gary who was here earlier, and that's the end.